In this video, I'm going to talk about a huge new announcement by Meta. Something that could completely change the way we advertise on Facebook and Instagram is coming, and here it is. So a few weeks ago, Meta announced a number of different updates to do with messaging, some lead generation stuff in there, but there's one feature in particular that is absolutely massive.
Massive. Sometimes they say huge.
Really caught my attention, and I wanted to tell you about it and tell you about the potential impact of it. I'll include a link to this article in the video description, by the way, if you want to check out the rest of the details on this. But if we scroll down to this section here where it says marketing messages in Meta Business Suite. So it looks like Meta is going to allow us as marketers to send promotional messages via Facebook Messenger to people, we don't know exactly which people yet, and not have to pay for the privilege. And that could be absolutely huge. It could completely change the way we advertise on the platform. Now, Meta Business Suite, for those of you who aren't familiar with it, looks like this. I'd recommend checking it out if you haven't already. There's a whole bunch of things that you can do within Meta Business Suite. You can post, primarily used by marketers, I believe, for managing their inboxes. So Facebook Messenger, messages they receive, Instagram direct messages. They've even just added in WhatsApp. So people message you via WhatsApp, you can respond to them here. It's a great sort of centralized place to manage all that communication and things like that. But if we head back to our update document, and we have very limited information about this, so there's a lot of speculation here, but some really interesting stuff. I'm going to read out this first part here. So marketing messages in Meta Business Suite. We're testing a new capability that will allow businesses to send promotional message campaigns via Messenger to customers who opt in. For example, a customer may opt in to receiving notifications about upcoming sales, allowing businesses to keep customers in the loop about future sales. And then they go on to talk about it can help drive sales, help create customer loyalty and stuff like that. Now that's very, very interesting and could, as I said, be absolutely massive, could completely change the way we advertise on the platform. And we know the impact that this could have because we've seen something very similar to this in the past. So 5 years ago or so, the people that were involved with Facebook marketing were obsessed with growing messenger lists, using Facebook Messenger as opposed to email marketing and email lists in order to broadcast to people that have interacted with them before. And the reason why they're doing that is because the engagement rates were so much better than with email. Instead of, let's say with an email, you might get 20% open rates, 1% click-through rates. With Facebook Messenger broadcasts, we were seeing 80% open rates, 15, 20% click-through rates. The engagement was so much higher. And Facebook marketers were coming up with all sorts of clever ways of doing this, right? So you could broadcast really quite broadly, and we used tools like ManyChat to do this. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with this. You could get people onto your Facebook Messenger list using some of the similar techniques that we use to get people on email lists. So you could offer a lead magnet, for example, and someone had to message you for it. They would then be added to your messenger list if they'd sent you a Facebook message. You could get people to comment on certain ads. They would then be taken to Messenger to get a lead magnet and be added to your messenger list. All sorts of different ways to get people relatively easily and inexpensively onto your Facebook Messenger list and then broadcast these people. And because the engagement was so high, it was a fantastic way to generate leads and sales. And Facebook marketers, myself included, we were really excited about the potential of this, but it all started to change when Meta, then Facebook, started to introduce limitations around what you could do in terms of broadcasting to people on your Facebook Messenger list. So they really limited what you could do promotional message-wise. They brought in time limitations. So it was after someone was added to your Messenger list, you could only send them a promotional message within a certain time frame. It changed as time went on, but it was really quite narrow. We're talking 24 hours, 40 hours, things like that. That massively reduced the value of a messenger list if you can't send out any promotional messages. And that's why I think it's really interesting that if we jump back to this announcement here, they've got the word promotional in there. They're saying that you will be allowed to send promotional message campaigns via this tool. That's very exciting. You know, that's much more valuable than only being able to send people receipts or say access to a download or something like that. So when Facebook started introducing those limitations, we personally went from a messenger list of tens of thousands of people, super valuable asset, more valuable than email list, to all of a sudden going, okay, I can't actually sell them my stuff. I can't promote my products and services to the vast majority of the people on this list. That's not great. And of course, what came with those limitations is a lot of bans. So if you broke the rules or, tried to get around it slightly, if Facebook found out, they would not only limit your ability to send out messenger campaigns, they might also ban your Facebook page. So a lot of Facebook marketers, when the limitations came in, after they're seeing all these bans, just thought, you know what, this isn't worth it. This isn't where I should be putting my focus anymore, and switched back to email list building techniques and other ways for re-engaging warm audiences. Simple retargeting campaigns on Facebook and Instagram, for example. So what happened 5 years ago or so really shows the potential value in this. And because this setup is different, it's being run through Meta, you're far less likely to get banned for any activity on there as opposed to using a third-party software to do it. There are significant advantages to this to what we had previously. But this is all the information we have about this right now. There are so many unknowns. I think the biggest one is, how do people opt in to be on these lists, right? What actions do they need to take to opt in? Because we've said customers, here we go, send promotional message campaigns via Messenger to customers who opt in. How do they do that? Is it going to be a checkbox that people tick alongside a lead form? Are we going to be able to run specific type of campaigns in order to build a messenger list? Can we offer lead magnets in the same way we might do to get people to opt into our email list? So perhaps you run, say, a lead campaign with an instant form, and someone opts in for that, they get their free thing, and they also need to tick a box to say, you know, I am happy to receive promotional message going forward. Is anyone going to be automatically opted in for certain actions they take? Because this is all within the Meta suite of apps, Meta could potentially kind of do what they want on this. Could someone be added onto this list because they visited your page or because they've messaged you previously? We don't know. And that's going to be a huge determining factor of how big this actually is. How do people get onto your list in the first place? How easy is it for them to opt in? And what can we do as marketers to encourage people to opt in and end up on our Facebook Messenger lists? Another big unknown is, how long will people stay on your list for? We know, for example, that when people submit their information via a lead generation campaign, what used to be called a lead generation campaign, via an instant form, that data is only held for 90 days. Is that going to be the same with this? If it is, well, that reduces the value of this quite significantly, because you wouldn't want someone on your email list for only 90 days. You'd want them on there longer, so you have more chances to sell them your products and services. Is it going to be more like 180 days as it is with website visitor data? Or is it going to be 365 days as it is with video view or Facebook page engagement data? There's different timeframes. That's a big unknown. We also don't know if you'll be able to contact these people in any other way. For example, if you're doing this via an instant form and you're gathering that lead generation data, and then they're opting in for your messenger list, are we also going to be able to add them to an email list via a CRM and email them? We don't know. I imagine Meta's not going to want to do that. They're going to want to keep people on platform, which is probably part of the reason why they're doing this. But again, it's an unknown. So lots of questions that still need to be answered, and those answers will absolutely determine how big this is. It's possible that it could be really hard for someone to opt in, and this is not going to be that much of a feature. It's also possible that it's really quite easy for people to opt in, and us as Facebook advertisers are all trying our absolute best to build these messenger lists because the engagement rates are really high, and we want to be able to build these audiences that we can nurture and then sell to, and that could be the main focus of Facebook advertising in a year or so's time. That is also absolutely possible. So we'll have to see how this unfolds and how it plays out. I'll keep you updated on this, as with all new Meta advertising related features, so make sure you're subscribed if you haven't already, and you'll see all that stuff as and when it happens. Now, before I quickly tell you about another new Facebook advertising feature, I want to quickly talk about our Facebook and Instagram advertising services. So my company, Lead Guru, is a specialist Facebook and Instagram ad agency. We create, manage, and optimize Facebook and Instagram ad campaigns for our clients. If you're interested in finding out more about how we can do that for you, take a look at the video description below. There'll be a link where you can book a call with one of my team members and find out all the information you need there. And if you haven't already heard, Meta also released a brand new video ad feature, and I created a video talking all about it here. If you're running video ads at all or plan to in the future, I'd strongly recommend you go ahead and check it out.